Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Bufnagle the podcast, where we explore entertaining and enlightening discussions of the adventure of life and all things good. From science and technology to history and philosophy to leadership and success. We hope to give you a better understanding of the world and skills for everyone to pursue their own adventure.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Bufnagle the podcast, where we talk about all things good and the pursuit of the adventure of life. I'm Rafe, and today is a great day. Harry, it's a great day to be doing a podcast with you. I'm joined by Harry. So, how are you?
I'm excited to be here. It's today is the Monday before Shrove Tuesday, before Ash Wednesday.
Yeah, there's a bunch of named things coming up here, and that's today's discussion: is this whole Shrovetide, Ash Wednesday, Lent extravaganza that fills up all of springtime, it seems. But before we get there, Harry, we are nothing here without our listeners, and I am grateful for them being out there. Because of our listeners, we are a global top 10% podcast, and we appreciate each and every one of you out there listening. If you are new to the podcast, please give us some episodes and see if we don't give you something to a reason to come back for more, as they say. And if you could please hit the subscribe button, get yourself on the what do they call it, in the queue, so that when
the list.
Yeah,
so you get like a VIP pass into the door.
Yeah, and it's a computerized thing. It's all like computer magic. So you hit that little button, and whenever new content drops on the buff, boom, you are right there at the front of the line. It is a great thing to subscribe, and it doesn't cost you anything. And if you tell a friend to listen, you will get a free episode, and that you can't beat that. And if you leave us a smiley star, a 5-star thing, we get goodies. I get pudding, and Zach gets brownies, and Harry gets cookies, and
it's a good times all around.
How are you going to beat that? So this episode, Harry, should drop on Shrove Tuesday, which is the last day before Lent starts on Ash Wednesday.
Right.
And it is interesting because that's a word that a lot of people, like, I had never heard that word. I was your age. I had never heard that word Shrove. It's an interesting word. It comes from, it's past tense of the word shrive. And now you're like, oh, well.
Oh, yeah. Well, why did I think of Shrived Tuesday?
Was it? No, Shrived. Well, see, past tense is Shrove. It's what do we call that? It's an irregular verb. It's an irregular verb. Shrive is an irregular verb. Okay, yep. So it ends in, right. So the past tense of shrive is shrove, and the whole period of time right before Lent, I've just learned this in fullness, I guess, is the way to think about it. I've heard these words before, and I've just learned this, that there's a whole area in front of Lent to prepare for Lent, and Lent is to prepare for Easter. So it's like a second level.
I mean, if you go back just another level, we're pushing into Advent.
Well, okay, so Christmas season ends at Candlemas, which is like February 2nd or something like that. It's a thing. It's when they do the St. Blaise thing with the candles on your neck. Okay. Yeah. So it's Candlemas, and it's a thing. It's a feast, and that can actually overlap with the start of Shrovetide. So Shrovetide. We'll define that word in a second, but Shrovetide is pre-Lent, okay, and it's a period of 17 days that starts with, okay, get this, with Septuagesima. See, I shouldn't have to. They should make these not Latin.
Well, it's got a sep in there, right? So it means 7.
It's the Sunday, 17 days before Ash Wednesday. So. Shrovetide starts on that Sunday. It also includes Sexagesima, which is 6 Sundays, that Sexagesima Sunday, and also Quinquagesima Sunday. Somebody can help me with my Latin. This is a thing. But that's actually called Shrove Sunday. So if you start on Ash Wednesday, you go backwards. You get Ash Wednesday, and then you get Shrove Tuesday, and then you get Shrove Monday, and then Shrove Sunday. And then you go a week before that, you get Sexagesima Septuagesima Sunday, and the week before that is Septuagesima Sunday. And those 17 days, you can, if you draw yourself a little calendar and check the boxes there, you'll see that those are 17 days prior to the start of Lent. So it's prep for the prep.
Well, sure. Just like we prepped for this show, and well, we probably need to do it twice, honestly.
Well, see, that's if you want to do it right, you're going to prep more than once, right? So, well, we do that, right? We have a what do we call it? We call this a production meeting when we do the recording, and then we have a pre-production meeting. And when we talk about what we're going to do in the pre-production meeting, that's our pre-production meeting. So that's like pre-Lent or Shrove Tuesday, and then Lent, and then Easter is the super happy time. So it is interesting to me because I had never heard this word shrive before, but shrive is a verb that means to confess one's sins, do penance, and get absolution. Okay, so it's that whole combined thing, and that's what you would do on Shrove Tuesday and all during Shrove Tide is to get ready for the Lent thing. It's kind of like a warm up. All right, so you should do like mini.
Well,
Lent
it's like packing your bag before you go into the desert for 40 days, right?
That's the way to, or
you
even
yourself
like
your water, you get yourself your food. You're preparing yourself for the mental way ahead
for the journey, right? And so maybe like stacking your it's what you do before you actually pack the car for the trip, right? I mean, you're getting
you make your list and make sure you got snacks for the kids.
Snacks for the kids. See, and that's a thing that they can do during Lent because they're little kids. And it doesn't hit them the same way it does us. Okay, so that's what Shrove is. And to me, what's interesting is, okay, you take any, and this is right. I don't know about other people, but I think being Catholic is just a wonderfully glorious, wonderful thing to do because of all the fun stuff we get to do. All right, and if you maybe that's not a good reason to do that, but I'm just saying I'm not saying that's a reason to do that. All right, you gotta do that if it's what you believe, right? So.
So you're telling me that the 3 to 4 a.m. Eucharistic adoration that you did the other day wasn't exciting?
Well, no. See what was we get to do that. We get to do that. Okay, they had that big revival in Kentucky at that university. I forget. Do you remember where that was?
I do not.
It was a big thing in Kentucky, and they had this big revival. And I'm like, hey, go revivals. I like being revived, and apparently everybody was all in, and that's a great thing. And I'm like, well, we have revival all the time. Like we have 24-hour, we have perpetual adoration at Our Lady of Mount Carmel. We affectionately call it Our Lady of Philip Rivers because when he was here with the Colts, we'd see him there. And sometimes Chris would say, "I'm going to go to Our Lady of Mount Carmel," and then he'd come back and say, "Hey, I saw Philip Rivers." And we call it Our Lady of Philip Rivers, but it's not it's Lady of Mount Carmel. But we have perpetual adoration there, and it's a thing you can go anytime, day or night, and you can be right there getting all revived up and ready to go. So that's a good thing. Okay. But another good thing is all these wonderful feasts and calendaring things that we get to do. Where else do you get Septuagesima Sunday?
Well, I don't know. Probably in ancient Rome.
Ancient Rome? There's probably there. Okay. But okay, so here's a couple things that happen on Shrove Tuesday. Shrove Tuesday is also called Pancake Day.
Well, I'm all about pancakes.
Well, see, okay. One thing you do
Fish fry Fridays.
Fish fry Fridays are coming out. That's a big Wisconsin thing, right?
Yeah.
When I was there, right, and anywhere where there's and I'm sure northeast. Well, that was a thing when you were West Point. Didn't they have like fish fries at the local parishes during Lent? I mean, you were kind of stuck on campus,
yeah.
but I remember seeing signs for that when we'd be driving around up there because it's East Coast kind of. People eat fish, not quite the same like in Omaha.
Sure.
I mean, they do eat their fish out there, but okay. Okay, so one thing you do on Shrove Tuesday, you take last year's palms from Palm Sunday and you bring them to the church and they burn them.
Yep, for the ashes for Ash Wednesday.
For ashes to use the next day on Ash Wednesday, okay? And they put them on your head and they say you are dust and to dust you shall return. That's kind of a happy thought to start those 40 days, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, goodness. And you get a smudge on your head, so it's nice during video conferences. All right, so Pancake Day is also Tuesday, right? And we used to do this, Harry. We used to do Pancake Day at my old job. Steve Roach and I would come in, and we'd do pancakes and sausage and eggs for everybody in the company that day. which was kind of a thing you can do in a small company. I think if you tried to do that in a big company, you might get
Probably get fired.
well, you might get chastised. But we just called it Pancake Day. And if people said, "What is Pancake Day?" then we would point them. We would tell them it's Shrove Tuesday, and they are more than welcome to partake.
I don't know anybody that's really going to turn down pancakes, though.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's like, how can you turn some of these things down? All right. What about family fish fries at your parish? Are awesome things. They're good times. Okay. So they have Pancake Day, and the reason they would have Pancake Day, Harry, is what I've read, is the idea was to I guess fatten up, right? Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras, right? Is because the fast is coming, so you got to feast now. Eat, drink, and be merry, for you never know when the end is coming. So they would do that, and you'd make pancakes, and you'd fill them with all sorts of things, whatever you wanted to fill them with. And what's interesting about this one is when I started reading about Pancake Day, the English don't always put syrup on their pancakes.
They do a lot of like powdered sugar, right?
Well, either that or just granulated sugar. And I remember this, one of the very few memories I have of my grandmother is her sprinkling just sugar out of, like, she had a sugar bowl on the kitchen table, right, with a little spoon in it, and she would scoop in there and she'd sprinkle a little bit of sugar on the pancake. And if you've ever had granulated sugar on your pancakes,
oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's not just a taste sensation;
it's a texture too, right?
There's a texture.
Pancake or the waffle too, right?
Right.
But especially pancakes. The pancake is soft.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of crunch right on the top,
and then you get that crunchy, gritty, and it's a really interesting, and it's sweet, so you can't beat that. But my grandma Emma, who was English, she did pancakes that way, and they have. Okay, so back in 1445, it's like 600 years ago or so, there was this lady in Olney, England, and it was Shrove Tuesday, and she was making breakfast that morning, and she was going to go to church, and she lost track of time, and she was busy cooking her pancakes in the frying pan. And she heard the bells ringing in the church, and she was like, "Oh, I'm late!" And but she of course said it like, I don't know, like Mrs. Doubtfire or whoever, right? So she's in an apron, and she grabs her headscarf, because you have to wear your headscarf back then.
Yep.
And she was so consternated that she ran with the frying pan and the pancake all the way to church. And it was 415 yards from her house down the main street of Olney, England, to the church. And she showed up there with the frying pan
I'm here.
And the pancakes, because she forgot to put it down, right? And so the next year they were like, "Hey, let's do that again." So they started having this race in Olney, England, on Pancake Day. They're in Olney, and they would have races, but the races, you have to flip the pancake at the beginning, and then you have to run with the pancake to the finish line and flip it at the end. And then
is it a hot pan?
I don't know that. I haven't okay, here's a buff.
So I guess we've got to go there next year, right?
I think Bufnagle, the podcast, live from Olney, England, on Shrove Tuesday. Yeah, we'll submit that to the budget committee and see if they can. Because it turns out you don't have to go that far, because they do Pancake Day and pancake races in a lot of places. But the other place they do that on an international level is in Liberal, Kansas. Okay. It's a little tiny town in Kansas. And somebody learned about this pancake race that takes place in Olney, England. And they were like, "Well, we would like to be part of your thing. We will challenge you. We'll take our pancake ladies up against your pancake ladies."
That's right.
They're dropping the pancake gauntlet.
Because there's nothing like the United States of America versus the United Kingdom, such as Olney and Liberal, Kansas.
Yeah, right. So, nothing harkens back to the old days of George Washington and right. Governor Clinton or whoever it was fighting it out. Yeah. So they do that. So every year in Liberal, Kansas, tomorrow, I guess we're recording this on Monday. So tomorrow they're going to do this. They're going to do this thing. And do we have time to get there, Harry?
I don't think I do.
You don't.
You probably do.
You probably got to work. I may have to take the day off I'll report to you from Liberal Kansas. But
That's right.
they have a race, and they have like you can go to the website. The pancake. Here it is. It's called
PancakeRaces.com.
It's pancakeday.net is what it is, and they talk all about what's happening there, and it's in Liberal Kansas, and they have a race that starts at 11:55 a.m. And the current standings, okay, because I know you're interested in this. They've been doing this for a while. Let's see, they've been doing this
since 1950, I think, right?
Yeah, about 1950. Yep. So it's going to be 70 some years. It's currently 40-30. The Liberal Kansas people beating the Olney England people, which to me is a shock. I would think that those guys have it in their genes.
Well, they've been doing it for millennia.
Yeah, almost. Well, rounded up to millennia. Just like 600 years since 1445. So I think that would be, you know what? And you know what they do? They race. This is kind of cute. They race to the church. All right. And the winner gets a kiss from the bell ringer.
Oh, well, who's the bell ringer?
Well, that's the question. So it depends on who the bell ringer is. But so maybe they have a better bell ringer in Liberal Kansas than they do in Olney.
Well, that would make sense.
But that's a thing. That's okay, and that is a fun thing that happens. That's a Pancake Day thing that happens. But there are all sorts of other festivals too, right?
Sure.
There's Mardi Gras, which takes place in
Baton Rouge, right?
New Orleans.
Big
New Orleans.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say Louisiana, then I tried to be more specific.
Yeah, you picked the wrong one. New Orleans, or Nolans, as they say. But they do the whole big...
They do like parades and festivals.
Big
and
parades.
all kinds of things.
And, of course, anytime you take these big festivals, they turn raunchy, right? I mean, that's what happens on Fat Tuesday, right? It gets raunchy. But the big one is in Rio de Janeiro.
And in Brazil, yep.
In Brazil. And that is a big carnival. That is one of those where they put away the flesh there. But that is apparently a raucous, just. I think
what you're really telling me is all these people I've heard over the years, they're from Louisiana and say that New Orleans is the best place to be for Mardi Gras are severely wrong.
Well, I have to say I haven't done both. Like, okay, so right now I'm seeing about 3 or 4 years of consecutive trips for Mardi Gras.
Well, so Olney, Liberal Kansas.
Yep.
New Orleans.
Yeah, and Rio. So that's what, 24, 25, 26, and 27?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Holy cow. All right. Well, that's Pancake Day. All right. And we used to do Pancake Day at my little company back there in Franklin, Tennessee. Steve Roach and I would do that. And it was a lot of fun. And that's a thing you can do. I think these little, these little traditions you do, even if they're a little bit wacky, I think they're good to do because they keep you grounded in what's fun. If you're not going to have any fun with it, why do it?
Yeah.
I think. All right.
Well, they're probably good for community too, right?
Yeah. Well, they bring all sorts of community spirit. And then, of course, there's probably people selling T-shirts and
fundraisers and that kind of thing.
Yeah, they do all those sorts of things. So now there's another tradition in the UK that they do on Shrove Tuesday, and that is a thing called mob football.
MOB, correct?
Mob football. And so we have American football, and most of the rest of the world has football, which is what we call soccer. And then there are other kinds of football, like rugby and Australian rules football, and there's Gaelic football, and there's Canadian football, and there's arena football, and there's lots of other kind of football. But this is mob football. And generally the idea is you get like a zillion people in the town, and you board up the town because otherwise the crowds go through the plate glass windows in the downtown area. And and somebody throws a ball into the mosh pit, and you have to get the ball to your goal, which is on the other side of town. Okay, and there's a couple of them that are pretty big, but the big one is the Royal Shrovetide football game at Ashburn, Derbyshire. Okay, so here
that'll be in 2028.
Yeah, that's exactly 2028. Actually, we're going to have to go twice because we're going to have to play once on both sides.
Sure.
Okay,
so we'll play one on the front side of all of our trips and one on the back side.
Yeah. So this one, this one is in Ashburn, Derbyshire, and I don't really know. I mean, I looked it up on the map, and I found it on the map. It's this little tiny town in Derbyshire. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. I say Derbyshire. It's probably Derbyshire.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a little creek. There's a creek called Henmore Brook that runs through the town. It kind of goes either east to west or west to east. I think it goes east to west. But there are people who were born north of the river, and there were people that were born south of the river. Okay, and the north of the river guys are called the Uppards, and the south of the river guys are called the
Lowards?
the Downards. The Downards.
Downards.
The Downards and the Uppards. All right, and the northern guys are the Uppards, and the southern guys are the Downards. And that's who your team is. It depends on where you were born, and it's a massive celebration. The reason it's called Royal Shrovetide Football is apparently Prince Charles, now King Charles, has been known to throw out the ball.
Okay.
Okay, so they
So there's an official start.
There's an official start. Okay, and this game is played over 2 days. It goes from 2 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Shrove Tuesday and on Ash Wednesday. They play it those 2 days, and the score is cumulative over those 2 days.
Okay.
So
you got to take breaks for like going to mass on Ash Wednesday, right?
Well, maybe. Well, I don't know. I don't know how much mass they do because they're all. I mean, I don't know if they're Protestants or if they're little Catholics hiding up. I don't have any idea what they really do there. I just know they play this awesome football game, which I want to be part of. It is an absolute zoo. They have thousands of people there, and they all cram into this. Actually, right now they cram into a parking lot because that's where there used to be this field that they would start in, but now the field is parking lots. But they still start in the same place. And the Uppards have a goal that is upstream. I think it's on one end of town in the river. The goal is in the river. Okay, the goal is in Henmore Brook.
Physically in the river.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
right?
good.
And the Downards, they have theirs on the other side. Like the goals are 3 miles apart. Okay, they are 3 miles apart. And if you've ever seen footage of this, and it's all over the internet, you can type this in Royal Shrovetide Football, and you can watch this zoo. All right, they take the ball and they throw it into the crowd. And it's like a big soccer ball, and it's a special. There's only one every year, right?
Right.
This is the one that's made for this game, and they've been doing this for centuries, Harry. And what'll happen is it goes in the crowd, and then it's like a mass of people just surround the ball in a big, what they call it, a hug, right? And what I think the strategy, I used to think the strategy was to try to get it out of the hug and get it to your runners to the outside, and they scramble upstream or downstream to your goal.
Mm-hmm.
But what you have to do is you have to get the ball to the goal, which is this wall where the mill used to be.
Of course.
And you have to take the ball. You have to be standing in the river. You have to take the ball and you have to bang it 3 times, boom, 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 against the. It's a plinth, a rock wall. You bang it 3 times against it, and that counts as a goal. And then you go, yay! And then you
do it again.
Well, and the guy who bangs it on the wall, he's like, you put him up on your shoulders and you carry him, and that's like a big societal honor to get chosen to be the guy to bang it on the wall. So if you and I went, all right, we'd have to be even famouser than we are now, but we wouldn't be chosen because they'd have like Jimmy, who grew up here and who, I don't know, has coached the local soccer team for forever. He might get chosen to be the guy to do that. And then they carry him back to town and they give the ball to the guy again. And if it's before 6 p.m., then they throw it back in and they go again. And the ball travels all over. And there's only like 6 rules, okay?
All right, read them.
Here are the rules. Okay. 1, committing murder or manslaughter is prohibited. Unnecessary violence is frowned upon.
But necessary violence sounds like it's okay.
And it doesn't say that it's illegal. It just says it's frowned upon. Okay, which is pretty funny. The ball may not be carried in a motorized vehicle.
Okay.
Now, I'm not sure about a horse.
Bicycle.
I see. That's the question. Is
Motorized.
if you've seen the footage, there's no way you could ride a bicycle in this crowd. It is a massive undertaking. The ball may not be hidden in a bag, coat, or rucksack, etc. So you can't like tuck it under your jacket and say, "Oh, I'm just going for a walk." It has to be visible. Okay. Cemeteries, churchyards, and the town memorial gardens are strictly out of bounds. Playing after 10 p.m. is forbidden. to score a goal, the ball must be tapped 3 times in the area of the goal.
Right, which you just went over.
Yeah, which it went over. So, and there's no limit to the number of players you can have. I mean, there are thousands of people out there, and it's.
How can you tell who's on your team?
I don't know that. That's there's no uniform.
Well, it's probably not shirts versus skins.
No, it's not, because it's generally pretty cool there, and if you see the footage of this, it's just this big mosh pit kind of thing, and the ball will pop up and everybody goes, oh, and the ball bounces around and then it disappears down into the thing, and then somebody will say it's over here, because it travels down underneath people's feet. And apparently there's strategies to pretend you have the ball and try to push the hug one way when the ball really goes the other way to get the other. And I think the trick, I've been thinking about
meetings before, weeks before discussing strategy.
Well, there are people that train to be runners, because if you can get it out away from the hug to guys who are fast, then they could actually run it and pass it and really move it. You know that you can pass a lot faster than you run. I think they try to. I think the trick is to get everybody who's on your team together in a big hug,
and then the other team can't get to you.
They can't get to you. They can try to stop you, but by having a bigger hug pushing the other way. It is a zoo, and just remember that unnecessary violence is frowned upon. So, and there's another game I read about this morning at in Atherstone, which is it's in Warwickshire, and they've been playing this game for hundreds of years. There's a picture here of the ball from 2012. This was the ball from the 813th Atherstone ball game. They've been playing this game since the 1100s.
Well, at least it made it through the Crusades.
Yeah, and the first time they played this, they didn't have a ball. They used a bag of gold. Okay. Yeah.
You really want to win, huh?
You really want to win that one. But now there used to be games all over the UK like this, of this mob football stuff. But the Highway Act of 1835 specifically prohibited the playing of football on public highways with the penalty of 40 shillings. Now, I don't know exactly what they do in Derbyshire or in this other place, Atherstone, but apparently they get around that somehow. Maybe I think there's a question between what are national highways and what are local county highways. And I think the local people in these places where they have these games, they look the other way, or they just agree to pay the 40 shilling fine, and on we go. And I think they just anyway, that's Royal Shrove type football. And I always thought that more.
So you've got another item in your bucket list.
See, I'm not a big believer in bucket list, but your mom says, "What do you want to go do?" And I was like, I want to go see that. I would love to be part. I would love to say I touched the ball. I would love to.
Live from Derbyshire, this is Rafe with Bufnagle.
Get a little Bufnagle press pass.
There you go.
But that would. I think they should do these on universities and stuff. Wouldn't that be a great thing?
That'd be great. I can't imagine at West Point that'd probably be really funny, but probably outlawed within about 10 minutes.
Well, see, that's what they said about some of these other games. They get really, they get dangerous, and people just go nuts. They go overboard. They don't realize it's just really fun. It's fun to be goofy, and they take it too seriously. You know guys like that?
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we know who we're talking about. So, all right. So, but some of these things are local civic interactions that that they go back so far back in history, people don't remember what they are. And the thing that comes to mind with this, although this is all in fun, I'm sure you've read the short story The Lottery.
Yes.
And that's a book you're supposed to read somewhere between 6th grade and 8th grade.
Yeah, maybe freshman year of high school.
Okay, maybe freshman year. Yeah, and that is one of those stories I think now I read it and because I know what's happening, and it just feels a little bit overdone. But I'm sure there are things out there like that, or there were things like that, like The Lottery. If you haven't read The Lottery, it's a creepy book. It's a creepy little short story. But Harry won't do no spoiler alerts today.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
on that.
When I think of The Lottery, I also think of the yellow wallpaper, which is also just as creepy.
That is a very creepy one too. And I read that in a book club when I was at Vanderbilt. We had book club. I ran a book club for the. I guess, how would you say it? There were a lot of people that worked in the stats department that didn't grow up in
Say foreigners, right?
Yeah. I got it.
Non-Americans.
Well, they were. Yeah, a lot of them. They came here for wherever they came here, and they weren't born here, so they didn't have the upbringing that we had. And we would do book club, and we would talk about it, and any topic was fair game. Any topic was fair game, and we read the Yellow Wallpaper in that book club, and I think everybody was really freaked out by it. So.
Those are topics for a different day.
Yeah, well, yeah, Yellow Wallpaper is not very much fun. Lottery is more fun because it's got that creepiness in there. So, all right, so the last bit comes up to the real question then. All of this gets you through Shrovetide, which puts you to Lent. And the big thing with Lent is fasting.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, okay, why do you guys fast during Lent? What is the whole point of that? And what's the deal with the fish?
We really just enjoy starving ourselves.
That's what it is. Well, okay, so that's the question. And we talked about this. Was it last week we ended up doing we did the virtues? Was that when that was last week?
Yeah.
So there are 4, Father Mike Schmitz talks about 4 reasons to fast during Lent. Right? You got these in front of you?
I do not, but I smiled at Father Schmitz. So.
Yeah, so he did the Bible in a Year podcast, and then he's doing the Catechism in a Year podcast, and then I think next year he'll do
the Bible in a Year again.
Bible in another year.
Year A, B, and C.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right. No, he won't do the lectionary in a year. Okay, so but why fast during Lent? Okay, the first one is self-mastery of your appetites. Right?
Okay.
Is to train yourself to the virtue of temperance, and that is keeping your appetites or your tummy in check. Right? That's the one. Thing 2 is obedience and discernment. It is opening yourself to be guided by God and the church as to what is best for you.
That's keeping your mind and your spirit in check.
Yeah, that's and directed in the right way. Okay, and then fasting is a sacrifice oriented toward worship of God, and not worship of us. Okay, so it challenges you to not think about you, but to think about God and focus your worship in the right place. And the fourth one, and this was a little interesting. I thought this is an interesting statement. I'm sure some friends of mine will have disagreement with this. Mm-hmm. As a sacrifice, it allows us to participate in the sacrifice on the cross for salvation of the world. So we are, I guess the word that was used was being co-redemptric with Christ. And I think some people would be like, I don't think I want to go there. Okay, so, but you can take that up with Father Mike Schmitz, all right? I'm not going to, I think he has an argument to be made that sacrifice can be good for you, and if it's sacrificed oriented in the right place, then that is
it's probably good for others, right? And that's the whole point of sacrifice in the first place.
That is the whole place, right? And fasting though is another thing. Okay, there are essentially 3 main forms of penance. The 3 main forms of penance. They are fasting, prayer, and almsgiving. And fasting deals with you becoming properly related to yourself. Prayer allows you to be properly related to God, and almsgiving allows you to be properly related to your neighbor. Okay, you can find this in the Catechism, paragraph 1434.
All right,
if you want to go look that one up. Okay, and what is kind of interesting to think about this, and I think this comes back to the idea that we have a big party and then we have a fast, and then at the end of that, things get pretty dark there at Holy Week, but then it comes out and it gets very glorious at Easter. Is we have feast days that are pushed up against fasting days. Okay, and it doesn't do any good to fast if you don't also feast, and it doesn't do any good to feast if you haven't also fasted. And what that reveals to me is this quote by Chesterton that I think you have there.
Yeah, and you sent it to me. I read it at first and I was like, that seems a little too much. And then I reread it again. I was like, okay, I kind of like it.
Yeah.
But the Chesterton idea is that you don't need a middle path, but a marriage of extremes. You need to be intensely invested, yet totally relaxed at the same time. And you hate the world enough to change it, but you also love it enough to consider it worth to changing.
Yeah, and we talk a lot about staying on the path and staying in the middle.
Right, and these virtues keep us
Keep
on the
us
path.
in the middle. But Chesterton has the other extreme. He says you want to like be on both sides at the same time, which is a classic Chesterton.
You just need a really wide body vehicle. Just take up the whole path.
Like one of those ones that's really, really tall that can drive over all the other cars.
That's right.
Right. But that is the thing to think about is are you being what's the term, milk toast? Just being gushy, passive and just kind of going down the middle without committing. That's one way to stay in the middle. The other one is to fully take part in the feast and fully take part in the fast. And on average, you're still in the middle. Right? Mm-hmm. So there's two ways to stay in the middle. And I think I don't think you should deliberately steer one way and then steer the other. I was like, well, I'm going to sin real bad this week. And then
I was going to say, it's like, well, if I just go to confession, I can do 10 Hail Marys and
then I'll be back. It's like, I'm going to go.
It's the same thing as like working out. Right? A lot of people say, well, I can justify eating ice cream as long as I go run a mile after this.
Yeah.
It's like, well, sure, I guess, but you probably want to work out because it betters you. And then you probably also want to have the ice cream because it's fun to have. And
that betters you too.
Right.
Well,
otherwise you're too bland.
Well, what you can do is I can keep myself relatively I'm using finger quotes here, relatively healthy by eating poorly, but not very much. Right?
Yeah.
But that's not right. But that's a middle of the road direction. And we don't want to do that. So I guess what I'm taking away from all of this Shrovetide and Lent thing coming up is it's all about the balance. And you get balance by putting something on each side, not by taking everything off and just standing in the middle.
Yeah, I'd say that's about right.
All right. You got anything else, man?
I don't think so. I learned a lot about Shrove Tuesday.
I had no idea that word was even there. I mean, think about all the things you can do with that word now. And you have another irregular verb to play with.
Oh, I'll be sure to teach the kids that one as soon as they wake up.
As soon as it was like, dude, I got another regular verb.
Well, he thought go and went was hard. Let me teach you about Shriving Shrove.
But I wonder if there's things like what's is it when you put have in it, does that make it a participle? Like I have shriven, I have shroved, I have shrived. It's not shrived. It would be I have shrove, I have shroven, I have shriven. See, I don't even know. I got to start looking these things up.
You better get on that.
I will get on that. In the meantime, I'm going to ask the rest of you to go seek the good, be the good, and spread the good, and enjoy the adventure of life.